An otherworldly tomb in Turkey covered in giant statues and carvings, mysterious massive stone circles in Jordan, and a 5,000-year-old stone covered in spirals, strange symbols, and four-toed footprints in Scotland. These are ancient monuments that look like they were built by aliens. Way up on a mountain in southeast Turkey, there's this insane tomb built by a king around 69 to 34 BCE. It's called Nemrut Dağ. It's basically a giant stone show-off for himself. On top of the peak, he had a huge 50-meter or 164-foot mound made of crushed stone and rubble, surrounded by terraces on three sides. Giant limestone statues of gods sit on the east and west terraces, some paired with lions and eagles. There are also rows of stone slabs showing his family tree. One side, Persian ancestors, the other, Macedonian, basically proving he was connected to both east and west. The statues are massive. They're also very detailed. The whole place mixes Greek, Persian, and local styles, and the way it all comes together, the massive stones, the huge statues, I mean, just look at it. It feels very otherworldly. Looks like something out of Middle Earth. But just imagining hauling all of that up a mountain without modern machinery, it makes it all the more impressive. Out in the deserts of Jordan, there are these massive stone circles that archaeologists have been studying for decades. They're called the Big Circles, and from the air, they look almost impossibly perfect. 11 of them have been spotted, each around 400 meters across. That's over a quarter mile. There's another one in Syria, though some of those circles have been destroyed over the years. The walls are surprisingly low, just a few feet high, and originally they had no entrances, so that meant anyone who wanted in would have to hop over. Now, why they're shaped like this, what they were actually for, no one really knows. Some people think rituals, some think they were made to track the seasons, but there's nothing really concrete. They've been known about since the 1920s when pilots started spotting them from the air, but it wasn't until recently that archaeologists started taking high-res aerial photos to get a better look. These images show that the circles aren't just randomly placed. They interact with the landscape in strange ways. One in Syria, for example, gives someone standing inside a full panoramic view of a whole basin that would have had crops and settlements. These circles could be over 2,000 years old, or way older, even pre-writing. Out in West Dunbartonshire, Scotland, there's a massive stone called the Chochno Stone, stretching 42 by 26 feet, completely covered in these strange carvings. There are spirals, you have geometric shapes, and over 90 cup and ring marks that cover the surface. And some of these symbols are really odd, like pairs of footprints, each with only 4 toes. I mean, why? Why 4 toes? Was it symbolic? Was it something else entirely? The stone dates back around 5,000 years, making it one of Europe's best examples of Bronze Age rock art. It was discovered in 1887 by Reverend James Harvey. By the 60s, vandalism forced authorities to bury it in 64 to protect it, and it stayed hidden for years. But about 8 years back, it started getting unearthed again, along with all the mysteries surrounding it. Some wonder if the carvings could be more than just prehistoric art. Could they be signs of otherworldly visitors, or maybe a secret language lost to time? Who knows? Out on Syria's Golan Heights, there's this massive ancient stone site called Rujm El-Hiri. From above, it looks like a giant wheel, circular walls spinning around a mound at its center, which is why it's sometimes called the Wheel of Ghosts or the Wheel of Giants. It's also often referred to as the Stonehenge of the East. Nobody knows who built it or why, but it goes back to somewhere between 4000 and 3000 BCE. For a long time, people thought it was built to track the stars or the sun, because the walls seem to line up with the solstices, but a 2024 study revealed that the ground has shifted over, thousands of years, so those alignments might just be a coincidence. The same research also showed new walls and tiny fences nearby, arranged in flower-like shapes. Some were as old as the original mound, others were added later, showing the site got reused over time. So what was this place actually for? No one really knows. It could have been a home, a storage area, a place for rituals, maybe all of the above, maybe none of those things. Way up in the Andes of Bolivia is Pumapunku, part of the huge Tiwanaku temple complex. Some say it was built around 536 to 600, but some wonder if it's even older than that. It's built with huge blocks that weigh over 130 tons. they'd been dragged from 50 miles away to a site so high up there weren't even trees to help roll them. And it's not just the size, it's the precision too. Each stone has lines and cuts that are so sharp and exact, it looks like they were done with electric tools. And the blocks fit together like puzzle pieces with no mortar. Nobody really knows how they moved and carved these stones with the minimal technology that we assume was available back then. The more you look at Pumapunku, the harder it is not to imagine something extraordinary behind it. Out in the deserts of the Middle East and North Africa, there are these formations called desert kites. They're giant shapes made of stone, some over a kilometer long, and from above, they do look like these odd jellyfish-like designs, or kites, hence the name. Nobody really knows for sure why they're there, but most think they were ancient hunting traps. So hunters would basically herd animals like gazelles in and trap them. Some of these date back 10,000 years or more. The size alone is incredible, but the shapes are strange too. They almost look like crop circles or, something like that. Out in the Thar Desert in India, near a village called Boha, satellites spotted these huge geometric patterns carved into the sand, giant spirals, loops, and long straight lines stretching for 30 miles. One spiral alone is over 7 kilometers long. The lines are shallow, only a few inches deep, but they're crazy precise, and they're bigger than the Nazca lines in Peru. But they're only about 150 years old. That's late 1800s, long before anyone could have seen them from above. They're arranged around these old stone memorials called shatris, which honor the dead. Some people think they might have had a spiritual meaning of some kind, but nobody really knows who made them. There are no legends, there are no notes, there are no tools left behind, just these enormous, perfect shapes. In southern Mexico, hidden under thick jungle, archaeologists found one of the oldest and biggest Mayan ceremonial sites ever discovered, Aguada Fénix. It's a massive raised platform sitting 33 to 49 feet or 10 to 15 meters above the land around it. People only noticed it recently thanks to LiDAR. It goes back to around 1000 to 800 BCE, which makes it way older than most of the famous Maya cities that we know of. The platform is surrounded by 9 long causeways. Researchers think it was a huge gathering place for ceremonies or community events, but the precision is insane. Everything lines up perfectly, and it's kind of crazy to think that people built something this big without modern tools. Even crazier, locals have lived around the area for generations, and they never realized something this big was right there under their feet. Out in southern Ohio, there's this huge earthwork called Serpent Mound. It's shaped like a winding snake, over 1,300 feet long, the coiled tail and a head that points toward a cliff. People built it a long time ago, around 300 BCE, but other cultures came in later and they added to it around 1070. What's really crazy is how it lines up with the sky. The head of the serpent points toward the summer solstice sunset. Nobody really knows why it was built. Maybe it was a calendar, maybe something more spiritual, maybe both. It sits on a meteorite impact crater though, which some people also think might have inspired the whole thing. Near the Pyramid of Djoser in Saqqara, Egypt, archaeologists discovered 24 massive black boxes carved from solid Aswan granite. Each one weighs over 100 tons, with lids around 30 tons, and they're sealed tight, like these massive airtight containers. The precision in cutting and fitting these stones is very impressive. It's so exact it looks like something that you would need modern machinery to pull off. Nobody really knows why there are 24 of them, what they were for. The craftsmanship makes you stop though and wonder how ancient Egyptians managed this with just the tools that they had. And some people, when they look at these boxes, they can't help but think maybe there was more to the story. I've been your host, James, and I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, next time.